The rain is gone, the sun is out, and it's a beautiful day for Ultimate here in Framingham, Massachusetts at Bowditch Field, the home of your Boston Whitecaps. Today, the DC Current are in town trying to be the first team in this Eastern Conference to actually defeat the Boston Whitecaps. DC coming in with a 1-2 record, Boston 3-0, perfect on the season. Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Poser. As we get ready for our matchup today.
Let's get underway.
Boston will receive the first pull, and we are underway. That's number 13 handling right now, Brandon Malachek. First catch there, complete to Danny Clark. Now here's Jeff Graham. And fakes one direction. Danny Clark again now, closely guarded by Rico Johnson. Throws away, Graham catches this one. Boston quickly working down the field, trying to get on the scoreboard early in this one. Graham again, pinned up against the far sideline by number 45, Jeff Wodach. And that caught is complete for a score. Graham getting it to Josh Cricket Marquette. Boston quickly on top, 1-0. Will Neff set to pull the disc as we'll get a first look at DC's offense. Neff pretty deep in the end zone. There we go. Nice pull there by Neff, just short of the goal line, comes down. Neff quickly up there on defense. Pass complete to 21, Rob Dulabon, as they're going to dump it back to 99. Kolek is the go-to guy for DC, and he makes a nice pass there to the sideline. That's number 5, Kevin Mollendauer, the player coach for this team. Mollendauer again receiving that one, and he's going to launch this one. He's going deep, trying to get to Kolek. He's going to score if it's good. He's up, and he grabs it over Neff. Nice bid there on defense by Will Neff, but Kolek really showing why he's the star of this team with a great grab. We're tied up here at 8:35 left to go in the first quarter. DC set to pull, and we'll get a whistle. Pulling for DC as they now have to back up pretty far into that end zone as a 10-yard penalty is Sean Keegan. We'll do it again. This pull still a good one, but the wind might have pushed it up a little bit. And it's going to float there and hang for a second, giving DC a chance to set up on defense. Josh Cricket Marquette quickly off that one, and Graham's going to try and run this one down. He can't grab it. He looked like he pushed it forward trying to make the grab, so great attempt there for Graham. But DC will take over. Just 1 or 2 steps behind. He gets those extra steps. That's an easy catch for him. He was all alone in the end zone. DC will take over. Number 45, Jeff Wodach, working along the far sideline. They're going back. Boston doing a nice job defensively so far. And there's going to be a turn, and Boston's going to be in great field position here.
Boston disc on the end zone.
And DC turns it over in the end zone. We'll have to bring it back out to the goal line. 7.5 minutes left to go here, and now we get another whistle.
Some contact in the back of the end zone.
A little bit of contact in the back of the end zone going against DC. It's number 22, Brian Marshall, and Jeff Graham.
22, Brian Marshall from DC.
Actually, it looks like it's unsportsmanlike conduct, so Marshall will be now wearing that orange band on his arm. And quickly, Boston able to get in for the score. They make it look so easy. Josh Marquette throwing in with the assist. Nice job there by the Whitecaps. Looking to have some great defense like they did last time. That's Teddy Brouwer-Jarvis. A little bit of a spin move on his pull, and nice pull there to start off. Kolick, 99. The first reception. Brouwer-Jarvis closely guarding 88 Calvin Ong. Excuse me, Ong. I get it over to player coach Mollendauer, who finds Cranston. Great defense there by the Whitecaps, number 27.
Jack Hatchett with the layout.
Jack Hatchett. Nice layout there on defense. It'll be a turnover. Brouwer-Jarvis picks it up. He's going to flick it down the sideline. All alone there. Not quite enough for the score. That was 29. Eric Redshirt Stevens. Jarvis finds him right again.
Teddy Brouwer-Jarvis with a 75-yard look, gets it back and back to
Will Neffset here to pull again for Boston as they try and keep this defensive pressure up that has been successful so far. It can never be understated in any sport how crucial it is to get off to an early lead and not let up. And that's what the Whitecaps will be looking to do here today. DC trying to respond in their early two-goal hole. There's a long throw, trying to get it down. And he does make the catch. That's in for a score. Number 45.
Number 45, Jeff Wodach with
Jeff
the touchdown.
Wodach. DC's pull by number 30, Francisco Hazara. Boston underway on offense now. Nice grab there by Brandon Michalik. He's going to send this one deep. It's going to float for a while and in for the grab. That's number 8, Peter Pryl. Boston will not let up on offense. It's 4-2 now. Brouwer-Jarvis sends the pull deep down for DC. They'll receive it in the end zone. Kolick will look to set up DC's offense.
Boston coming out in zone look here.
DC not doing much with a speed factor. Boston's able to keep up with them so far, and that was one of the things that head coach Jason Adams talked about, is he felt that DC was a very fast team as that disc ends up going out of bounds. Mollendauer with the bid there on the sideline, just out of his reach. I don't think he would have stayed in bounds anyway. Boston will take over. Mike Miller will start this one off. Almost stripped away there. This one's going to be over there for Terp. And Terp reels that one in. Boston doing a nice job converting their defense into offense. It's now 5-2.
John Hirschberger with the pull for Boston.
This pull, DC will let it fall. That's number 10, Ryan Todd, right in the center of the field. Over now to 3, David Cranston. Cranston backwards for the dump. Sean McComb. There's 10 again, Ryan Todd. The fans not letting him appreciate being here. Mollendauer complete to 61, Eric Salmi.
Boston making DC work up the field here.
Whitecaps really making the current going around and around. It's Kolick trying to flick this one in. He times. Nice job there. Ryan Todd beating his man. Great throw there from Kolick. Very creative. Try and get that one in. 5-3 now. Boston still on top. Boston signals that they're ready, and DC launches it down the field.
Sean Keegan with the pull for DC. Alex Cooper back to receive.
Cooper will let this one fall. Now the check really working. Now here we go, down deep again. A couple of tips, it's still up, and what a bid, what a catch in the end zone. That one's good. Number 3, David Cranston had a couple of tips on defense. Boston. What a catch there for Jeff Graham.
Number 18, Teddy Brower-Jarvis with the pull.
Brower-Jarvis again with the pull. DC trying to keep up. Boston just scoring so quick. Kolick working. He's got it to that's Eric Salmi. DC working across the field. Gonna send this one deep. Jumping not quite in the end zone yet. Got a good chance here to score. Back it up. Calvin Ong. And they do get it in. The deep throw wasn't quite there, but a couple extra ones, and DC able to get back within 2. Ready, the pull is in, and here we go.
Brandon Muffin Malachek, Boston set to go on. Oh, little zone look out of DC here.
DC is trying to play a bit of a zone defense now. Graham finding all alone deep is number 8, Peter Pryl. Now DC quickly comes over and finds him at Pryl, able to work his feet. Little hop over the end zone line there and in for the score. Peter Pryl giving Boston their 7th goal.
Shot from Cricket for the touchdown. Boston 7, DC 4.
Josh Marquette, the Cricket, with the throw. John Hirschberger with the pull.
John Hirschberger with the pull for Boston.
And it'll go back into the DC end zone. And they're going to send this one quickly. They're trying to get to Kolick. It's going to flow right down to him. Nice grab there by Kolick. Kolick will try and we get a travel against Kolick. So DC not making it easy for themselves now. Kolick with the travel. Seth Reinhardt tried to really put on a burst of speed there, maybe beat Kolick down the field for a quick score, but Kolick able to keep up with him. Now Reinhardt works against Kolick. To Simmons. Here's this one, a high bid in the jump, and a second opportunity, no good.
Looking for Terry Roth, Terry gets up, can't quite come down.
That was Terry Roth trying to reel it in for Boston. Just good bid, just couldn't come down with it. DC will take over. Nice layout grab there, and a throw from the ground. Moldenhauer working with 21, Robert Duelman. Brent Bellinger now for DC. He'll get it right back. DC really just going side to side almost. Kolick now gets it in the middle of the field. He gets it over to Calvin Ung. And this one, if it's good, Terry Roth with the D. Nice job there by Roth, able to read that one perfectly, jump up and smack it away from Jeff Wodach. This is really the first back and forth we've seen without a score in a while. Hirschberger working along the sideline there. Finally gets it over to Will Neff. Neff will send it deep. Nice grab. One-handed grab by Simmons. Simmons, Hirschberger. Now Hirschberger's going to send it out deep. He's going to try and get it to Seth Reinhardt. And Reinhardt this time able to reel it in, beating Alan Kolick down the field.
Here, the clock will
15 seconds left to go here in the first quarter as Teddy Brower-Jara sends this one deep again for the pull. It looks like it's going to float a little bit in the very, very light breeze we have here today, and it's going to end up going out of bounds. So that'll help DC out with just the little amount of time left here to go in the first quarter. Have to make some smart throws if they want to score here before the quarter ends. Moldenhauer talked about this in a couple of their other games. They've had issues with little time left on the clock, able to have a good possession and manage the clock effectively in order to get a score at the end of the quarter. So we'll see what DC can do here. They're going to try to move quick, and here it is. There's the huck into the end zone, and the wind pulling it up a bit, and it's going to be a big pile there trying to grab that one. Looks like about 5 different players crash into each other. Boston will get a chance. There's 3 seconds left. There's the huck. It's really not going to be deep enough, and DC ends up knocking it down. Anyway, that'll do it for the end of the first quarter. Boston on top 8-4, in control pretty much the whole way. Stick with us, second quarter coming up. To DC, and we are underway once again. That one's really just floating around. The sun isn't too bright, but it is a little overcast today, so players fighting a little bit of glare out on the field as Boston has DC pushed deep within their own end zone. David Cranston with the catch there. Gets it over to Sean Keegan. Keegan, another one of the stars of this DC team, along with Kolick. Ryan Todd. Boston doing a nice job defensively so far here. Kolick still stuck in his own end zone. Get it over to Calvin Ung. Guarded closely by Hirschberger. That's about as far as Kolick's managed to get the disc upfield so far. Now they get just close to the midfield line there. That's 61, Eric Salmi. Trying to work against Jake Taylor. This one's going to be close. Able to reel it in is Ryan Todd. Keegan again. Teddy Brower-Jara working hard. Keegan gets it over to Kolick. Kolick and Keegan, a little two-man game going right there. There's a defensive bid. Nice job there. Hirschberger with the D. Perfectly timed, and now he's going to get a chance to finish what he started. And this one's going to be close to the sideline. Hirschberger reels it in. He's pretty pumped up about that one, flexing the muscles. There's Neff, ready to go.
Number 7, Will Neff with the pull for Boston. Little outside in, coming down. Boston on defense.
And that'll be reeled in by Brent Bellinger. Moldenhauer now, the player coach for DC. Got it over to Markham Schaffner. Here's Robert Dulabon. DC doing a much better job in their last possession, moving up the field quicker this time. Matt Gordon stuck on the sideline, gets it back to Schaffner. Now Boston's got DC backing up. Moldenhauer finds Jeff Wodach. Wodach has been involved a lot so far today. Moldenhauer again trying to work. Low throw and a diving attempt, no good. And it looks like we might have an injury on the field. Welcome back, everybody. We did have that injury on the field. Casey Turp, as the injured player, looked like he favoring his right shoulder. He dove on the bid defensively and landed wrong as he is walking off the field. If we get any updates on his situation, we will let you know.
Nice layout grab by Chris Wade on the sideline.
Jeff Graham now in for the Whitecaps. As this defensively knocked away. That's Robert Dulabon for DC. Boston trying to recover after the injury to Turp. DC taking over here. Sean Keegan starting things off. Brian Marshall playing with that band on his arm after that unsportsmanlike conduct call early in the first quarter. Now Robert Dulabon, a lot of time there. Boston not coming up for the mark quickly, but able to break it up despite the time that he had. Boston taking over now. Here's Graham. Graham faking the hammer, and we get a whistle. And it's going against DC as a foul called. So they'll move up. Boston getting it over to... Boston scores again. That was... Boston set here for the pull, now leading 10-4, 6:27 left to go in the half. Wynn really moving that disc all around and to land deep in the end zone. Great pull there and start this defensive possession off for the Whitecaps. Teddy Brower-Jarvis making an excellent bid on defense there. That really floated up to Kolick, but Teddy just not able to really come down with it in time, but great job. Nice bid there. Great catch by Kolick. Getting back to Kolick in the center of the field. Kolick will get it over to Moldenhauer. Now Daniel Cantor. Cantor and Sean McComb working together. Cantor's got it back again. Oh, great layout there for Moldenhauer.
Moldenhauer, the great layout grab to keep the offense going for DC here, working up the field.
Cantor again. DC slowly moving up the field. Here's Kolick, the guy they wanted in the hands of. Kolick's going to flip this one out, and Moldenhauer trying to get up for it. It's broken up by number 4, Miles Montgomery Butler. Great job getting that disc away from player coach Moldenhauer. Boston will take over. Hirschberger along the sideline, sending this one deep. Terry Roth able to run it down. I don't know if at first he realized how much farther it was going to go, and Roth with a little backflip in the end zone to celebrate. Hirschberger and Roth again. 11-4, Boston on top here. 4:52 left to go in the half as Miller sends the pull down. And DC really trying to play catcher. They're going to go for one quick here. This one is going to float out to Keegan. And Keegan tips it up for himself. Miller breaking it up.
A lot of contact there, no foul called.
No foul, and nice job there by Miller. Getting that one away from Keegan. We talk about Boston being a very high-powered offensive team, but their defense has been on great display so far today with a lot of tips and blocks going against DC. Here's Miller again. Miller's going to send this one deep. Reinhardt reels it in. Reinhardt's got Zid in the end zone, and Boston calls timeout. Cricket did the honors there, and there's the throw, and nice grab there, Jeff Graham. Who else?
Assist for number 17, Alex Cooper.
Teddy Brower-Jarvis again set for the pull for Boston. They're now up 12-4. Update on Casey Turp. He dislocated his right shoulder on that play. He will not return today. Hopefully, thoughts go with Casey. Get better soon. Get it back out on that field. Pull ends up going out the back end zone. Brower-Jarvis, the actual number on the pole is 101 yards. Great stuff there from Teddy. DC will be able to take this one up. Sean Keegan starting things off. Ryan Todd trying to work along the sideline to get it back to Keegan. Now David Boya working with Jeff Wodach. Jonathan Neely having difficulty getting away at first, finds Ryan Todd. Todd with some time here as the mark slow to come up to him. Wodach again. Wodach's mother was actually interviewed here in the stands, being Mother's Day. On a fine Sunday for Mother's Day. What better way to watch her son play some Ultimate? Jonathan Neely. It's it over to Ryan Todd again. Back to Neely. He'll swing it around. Near side to Wodach. Wodach, Neely, and Todd really the handlers right now in this possession for DC. Steinbrecher Kaufman. And there's a nice cut. Great throw there. David Cranston in for the score for DC. 12-5. Neely and Cranston connecting there for the score. DC with the pull. This one really just floating for a while and ends up coming down well short of the end zone. Austin trying to make something happen along the sideline there. Alex Cooper on the far side gets it over to Josh Cricket Marquette. Cricket, actually a trainer for a job, did take a look at Terp while he was on the sideline. Here's Jeff Graham now. As Boston has swung it around to the near side. Low throw, and is gathered. And all alone in the end zone. And for the score is number 13, Brandon Muffin Malachek. Boston padding their lead, 13-5, 2:04 left to go in the half. Austin set to pull. That's Hirschberger with the pull. And DC will set up as they get it to Kolick. Keegan and Kolick out together again. Brent Bellinger back to Keegan. Hirschberger started off giving Keegan a bit of space, gets closer now as they get it back to Kolick. Boston has done a nice job defensively so far today, pushing DC back on quite a few of their possessions. As again, it really fighting to move up the field. Here's a deep bid, but the only guy near it now, Moldenhauer, makes a bid for it at the last second, but it's intercepted. Boston taking over. There's a flick from Myers. And now Brower Jarvis trying to find an open man. He does in Neff. Neff guarded closely by Kolick. Hirschberger now. Keegan's on him, and a ref signal a travel. I think Hirschberger's a little surprised. Travel ruled. Hirschberger must have moved his pivot foot, and that'll be a turn. And DC will take over. I don't think he really thought he did, but no argument really from Hirschberger. And DC takes over as Moldenhauer now sending it deep, trying to get it to number 25. Matt Gordon, he does grab it. Matt Gordon, nice grab there as Brent Bellinger now in control. Sean McCollum, that is not quite in, but that one is. Matt Gordon had it just shy of the goal line, but is able to find Kolick, Alan Kolick, in for the score. The way they've been scoring and as quick as they have, it doesn't seem like it's an impossible task for them. Brian Zid starts things off, and they get it to Malachek. That's Marquette getting it over to Clark. And
contact on the mark. 5-yard penalty for Boston. About 12 seconds
DC helping Boston out with the 5-yard penalty there. And I think now the refs are a little thrown off. Danny Clark will be pushed back to the midline of the field. Boston really is going to have to make a move here. Peter Pryl gets it over to Graham. Graham just kind of throws a hammer up in the air, see what happens. A great bid, no catch though. Great bid there for Boston, but they'll go into halftime with a comfortable 13-6 lead. DC will have to go to their locker room and really discuss where they want to go and how to stop this high-powered Whitecap offense. We'll take a break. Come back, second half action. Boston on top, 13-6. Welcome back to Bowditch Field here in Framingham, Massachusetts. Your Boston Whitecaps having a great first half. 13-6, they're on top of the DC Current. I'm Jeff Poster here today. Boston doing a nice job both offensively and defensively. Boston typically known as a very high-powered offensive team, but a great amount of defense, good defense, I should say, was being played by the Whitecaps. A lot of tips and blocks there against DC, who really, they struggled getting down the field. A lot of swinging around back and forth, not being able to go very far up the field. So we'll see maybe the switch of sides and probably a halftime locker room talk. We'll see if DC can get anything going here against what has been pretty much a flawless day so far for the Whitecaps. These two teams met back in week 2, and it was only a 1-point victory for Boston. So we'll see what the second half has in store for both sides as DC pulls to start this one off, and it'll fall about 13 yards ahead of the end zone. Malachek starting things off here for the Whitecaps, and there's a bump. Going to be a foul and a 10-yard penalty going against number 22, Brian Marshall. Marshall wearing that orange band on his right arm after an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty was called back very early in the first quarter. And he commits the foul. Now Boston working on the far side, and we get another whistle, and that's a stall. Stall called. Nice job there by DC getting out defensively early. And I think a little trigger happy there on that throw. That was number 45, Jeff Wodach, bolting down the field after the stall was called, trying to beat all the Boston defenders, but disc was not in play yet, so they'll bring it back. 9:13 left to go in the second half to start here in the third quarter, I should say. DC all the way back to their own end zone. Here's Keegan and Kolick working together again. Keegan getting it over to Ong. Again, Boston doing a nice job making sure that DC just going left to right. Or excuse me, I should say east and west as opposed to north and south here on the field. Daniel Cantor with the catch there, guarded closely by Marquette. Golick slipped a little bit as he sends this one out far. He's trying to get it to Keegan. Zid will defend, and Keegan leaks up, but Zid able to push it away just enough. Great job there by Zid. Boston takes over. We saw Kolick slip there. I imagine the grass has to be pretty dry at this point. It was raining this morning. Bowditch Field, a natural grass surface, not turf. Boston going after this one quick. There's Danny Clark trying to run this one down. Able to reel it in. Shot, and Jeff Graham right there in the corner of the end zone, the far corner. Danny Clark with the assist. Jeff Graham with the score. Boston on top, 14-6. John Hirschberger set to pull here for the Whitecaps. So a low throw. You can see the wind bouncing it up and down a little bit. And DC will start their offense. Sean McComb, low throw. And that's Brent Bellinger. Getting it back to McComb. Now here's Kolick. Kolick finds Cranston. Cranston moving up to Moldenhauer. Eric Salmi Getting it back to Kolick. Kolick and Salmi again, and there's a little bit of a miscue. Salmi threw it behind Kolick. He was going the wrong way. Boston will take over. We haven't seen too many of those today. Just miscues. There's been a couple of tips. But generally, both teams have been good at reading where their teammates are going to go. High throw there. Reeled in by Myers. Myers gets it over to Taylor. Here's Brouwer Jarvis finding Hirschberger. Hirschberger has been involved quite a bit today. Able to connect again. Taylor was open briefly in the end zone. Not able to get it there. He'll have to dump it back, and I think it's going to, yeah, that's a stall count. Great defense there. It's only 7 seconds for the stall. So DC, a nice job there defensively, swallowing up Boston. Ooh, great defensive bid there for Boston. And now DC is going to launch it to nobody as that disc just flew out down into the end zone, lands right on the goal line. Boston will get it back. Brouwer Jarvis will take the slow jog over to collect it. Just under 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Brouwer Jarvis going to send this one deep. Reeling that one in nicely was number 7, Will Neff. Hirschberger trying to get it back to him. And Taylor with the slide into the corner there. Nice job there. Teddy Brouwer Jarvis finding Jake Taylor. Nice little slide there in for the goal. Boston ready for the pull. You could start to see a little bit of frustration on some of the DC players' faces along their bench. Teddy Brouwer Jarvis, that nice spin, and a very nice pull once again. And DC just making a mental error, letting that disc float up there. And Ryan Todd could not grab that one as Boston had all the time in the world to come and knock that one down. They do. Brouwer Jarvis finding Miller, and Miller quickly finding number 27, Jack Hatchett. Boston back-to-back points very quickly there. Now with a 10-point lead at 16-6. Boston's defensive players have now gotten a lot of work in as they've last 3 possessions they've been able to turn into their own offense. DC, as if they want to keep in this game or get back in it, they're going to have to do it quick. Now under 5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And here's number 90, Markham Schaffner, able to gather that one in for the score. Now DC responds quickly. DC set to pull. They're going to look to turn this defense around quickly into offense. Down 9 here as we get late in the third quarter. Jake Taylor will start things off here for Boston. There's a flick out in the end zone. That's number 1, Marquette. But it's Jeff Graham out of nowhere, really, that comes down with it. There are 3 DC black jerseys surrounding Graham, and there's a little bit of frustration as one of the DC players kicks the disc after, but Jeff Graham really coming out of nowhere to make that grab. Hirschberger set again to pull for Boston.
Hirschberger with the pull for Boston, getting down the field. Keegan back receiving.
And Keegan is the one that gathers it in. Here's Kolick now. Kolick getting it over to Schaffner. We'll see if DC is going to try and get something up quick again. Kolick closely guarded there by Neff. Get it over now to Chip Cobb. Here's Keegan again. Schaffner. And able to find number 8, Chip Cobb again. Chip's got some family down in the stands today. He's got quite the applause. DC with a nice pull there to start this possession off. It'll go all the way back into the end zone. Your Pryal gathering that one in. Here's Danny Clark. Now Jake Taylor. Taylor trying to swing it around to his right. Graham now in control, and there's a whistle. A foul going against. It's a push-off. Push-off there by Josh Marquette. That'll push Boston back a bit. Here's Clark, though. Clark's got a chance. He can run it down. He's got it. He celebrates a little bit. Clark in for the score. Mike Miller with the pull for Boston. Boston will try and keep up the defensive pressure they've had going all day today. And Sean McComb guarded closely by Robin Myers. Here's Miller now on defense. DC getting it over to Brent Bellinger. This one's going to be thrown up there. Number 21, Robert Dulabon trying to grab it, and no good. Great defense there by Teddy Brouwer-Jaris. Brouwer-Jaris getting it all done today. Dulabon had a good rundown on it. Just Teddy able to come up behind him and make a nice play. DC not catching many breaks here today. Miller trying to start things off. Getting it over to Waite. Now they'll try and connect deep to Stevens. Red shirt, and it's Brouwer-Jaris that reels it in. And then Teddy rewards the guy. He basically took it away from Boston, scoring again, 19-8. Hirschberger sends it out again deep. DC's offense will get to work with this one. A little bit of wind picks this one up and pushes it all the way out past the other side of the track. And get a new disc. Alan Kolick will start things off. Alan Kolick actually came into this game tied with Jeff Graham for lead in points in the Eastern Conference. Kolick not having much luck so far today, so I imagine Graham taking over sole possession of first place in points in the conference today. Here's Eric Miner. Nice sliding catch there by Jonathan Neely. There's Kolick again. Moldenhauer and Kolick working the two-man game. Kolick's pass just wide. Good defense, though, there by Boston's Seth Reinhart. Able to really cut off the man from the lane there, and the intended pass was no good. This one's going to be sent out deep, and Wynn's going to float it up a little bit. It's going to be anyone's game. It ends up coming down in the hands of Peter Pryal. Not quite in the end zone yet, though. And neither was that one. It looked like he was in, but anyway, Peter Pryal able to gather it this time. Looked like the throw before that was a leap into the end zone, but Boston gets the point all the same. Teddy Brouwer-Jaris set to pull. Another good one off his hands. DC getting very frustrated now with Boston's commanding lead, 20-8. Just that they don't have many answers right now. And their offense really has not been able to move the disc very effectively. Markham Schaffner and Keegan working there on the far side. Miller showing His arms spread out very far in defense. Now Brower Jar's trying to pin that disc around the long line, but able to reel that one in is Markham Schaffner. Pretty quick point there for DC. Just 18 seconds left to go for Boston to try and get one more before the quarter ends. Very similar situation for Boston that ended the half. They had 30 seconds left that time and were unable to score. Here we go. Taylor is the initial receiver. Malachek takes over from him. Here's Marquette, and he's going to send this one out to Clark. Clark again. He scored the last time he was out there. He scores again this time he's out there. And there's still 3 seconds left to spare as Danny Clark makes another great run and another great catch. Pretty much they'll just have one throw, basically. And this pull comes down about the 5-yard line, and DC quickly just bombs it out. If anyone can grab it, it's good, but it's picked off. Hirschberger ends up picking it off in the end zone. Doesn't give DC a break. That'll take us to the fourth quarter. It's 21-9. Fourth quarter action coming up. Welcome back to Framingham, Massachusetts here at Bowditch Field. Boston Whitecaps on top by quite a bit. It's 21-9 over the DC Current. Current out of our nation's capital. Not having much answers on defense for Boston's high-powered offense, but that's not to say that Boston hasn't done their fair share of great plays on the defensive end today. They're really just getting it done no matter what's thrown at them. So we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Just 10 minutes of game time left here for DC to try and mount what would be a very big and very good comeback. Teddy Brower Jarvis sending this one out. Very nice pull. Keegan for DC will reel it in. It ends up landing on the back sideline. What a pull by Brower Jarvis. DC looking to score quick. Matt Gordon. They get it ahead to Jeff Wodach. Now it's back to Kolick. Kolick pushed back behind the midline. They'll send this one out. Wodach now in the end zone. He's all alone and able to gather it for the score is Jeff Wodach. Nice pull there. Wind pushing it up a bit. And it's going to go out of bounds. Boston will get a couple extra yards there on the pull. Jake Taylor's going to start things off here for Boston. Taylor in on the offensive side now for Boston. He gets it over to Cooper. And Cooper gets called for the travel.
Receiver travel on Boston, 10-yard penalty.
So it's not a turn, but he will be pushed back 10 yards. Cooper finds Graham quickly. Haven't been too many whistles in this game so far today. Ref's not really playing a factor, and now we're going to get a big huck there. Off the arm of Peter Pryl. Trying to get it into Marquette, and it's broken up nicely there by DC's Daniel Cantor in on the play.
DC will have a chance to get its first break of the game here.
DC hasn't had much luck turning their defense into offense today so far. Ryan Todd out there handling, giving it over to Keegan. DC trying to get their first back-to-back points. Johnson. Now they get it back, trying to get it to Keegan, and they do. Oh, no, Keegan, disc is tipped off of his fingers, and he can't gather it in. Boston trying to move quick. Marquette able to throw it right in, right at the end of the edge zone, just enough. Marquette to Cooper. As Boston still with a commanding 12-point lead, 22-10. Time is very clearly a factor here for DC. Moldenhauer scoops it up off the pole and gets over to Kolick. Now Markham Schaffner handling. They get it back to Kolick. Kolick has really been stifled today so far for DC, and he's their go-to guy. Moldenhauer back to Schaffner. Schaffner trying to get this one in the end zone, and they do. Quick point there for DC. Trying to mount a valiant comeback. It's not the result they're quite looking for right now. Still trying to keep their team cheered on. 7:45 left to go here in the fourth quarter. And Boston will take over once again. Malachek working against Cantor. Here's a quick bid down the field. Oh, nice defense there. But able to grab it still is Pryle. And Pryle, the easy score. What a grab there by Peter Pryle.
Not sure exactly what happens.
For the pull. And after the score, a couple of unsportsmanlike conduct calls against DC. Keegan as well as Wodach. Now wearing those orange bands around their arms. Probably just the frustration starting to mount as they've had no answer for Boston. Last time these two teams played, it only ended up being a one-goal win for Boston. Game that went back and forth all the way, right until the very end pretty much. But DC not having much answer now as they're backed up all the way to their end of the end zone. Pole will wind up right in front of the end zone, though, so really didn't matter that they were pushed that far back. Kolick now, double teamed. Boston not letting up, and that one is Moldenhauer can't reel it in, tips it off his own hands. And Boston will have an opportunity here right in front of the end zone to try and get their 24th goal of the day. That's Broward Jarvis. Ooh, a nice defensive bid there for DC. Teddy's pass broken up by Kolick. Schaffner now. Schaffner wants to go deep. He's got number 17, Eric Miner. He's going to try and race this one down. Miner leaps up and able to catch it over Boston. Miner with a great catch right there. That's Casey Turp making his way back to the Boston bench. If you're just joining us, Turp went out earlier in the game after he dislocated his right shoulder and got just a nice applause there from the fans. Boston really just trying to watch the clock tick away at this point. Taylor reels that one in off the pull. Malachek, excuse me now, and that just Malachek's pass was not able to be caught by Marquette. So DC with a good chance here. Keegan double teamed. And there's a foul going against Boston, so Keegan will get to move up a little bit here. Now much closer to the end zone. Still double team is Keegan. Jeff Graham was in on the double team. Ryan Todd. Nice pass there along the near sideline. Gets over to Cantor. Cantor able to break the mark from Taylor. And it didn't matter in the end. It's a stall was called. Boston takes over. And we get some more whistles here. Boston getting called it a little trigger happy, and that one pass incomplete there. Really just pushing DC back farther down the field. Now here's Cantor again. Todd getting it back to Cantor. Keegan is wide open for a dump pass over closest to us here in the box. Keegan able to grab that one in. And Keegan will call timeout. DC wanting to figure things out a little bit here more closely. Some substitutions were made. Swap out the offense and defense for both sides. Boston's defense now in. Here's Kolick. Kolick getting it over to Bellinger. Bellinger finds Schaffner. Schaffner's got it back. DC threatening. Looks like they want to put a huck down the field, but not doing so far. Bellinger now trying to find an open man. No luck. Lane is clogged, but they're able to get it to McComb. And a big tip up in the air and reeled in nicely by Robert Dulabon. He is staying bounds. And Hirschberger looks like he might be a little bit hurt after he tried to tip that one away. 4:15 left to go in the game here. Boston on top 23-13. DC's made some nice plays here in the fourth quarter, but I'm sure they're asking themselves, where was that the rest of the game? This pull goes out of bounds off the far side. Again, Hirschberger came up a little bit lame on that last play. He's now being attended to on the sidelines by the trainers. Looked like he was limping and favoring his right foot. So with such little time left in the game, it's probably a good call that he is done for the day. Here's Graham. Graham wanted to send that one deep. Ends up getting over to Clark. Clark finds Zid. Zid's got Taylor back for a dump. Taylor gets it. Ooh, nice grab there by Graham. Had to go with his opposite hand, other side, and that one's broken up nicely by DC.
Beautiful D by David Cranston there.
Cranston with the D.
Because there was some contact, might have been a foul called on the contact.
Oh, but there is going to be a foul called, so Danny Clark will be able to grab the disc anyway. Cranston will cover him. Clark finds Marquette. Back to Taylor now. Boston using a lot of time here so far on this possession. That one just a little too low there for Taylor. And DC's got to act quick. They did have Eric Miner halfway down the field before they were able to pick up the disc. Jonathan Neely trying to make something happen. Getting it over to Schaffner. Schaffner threatening a hammer throw there. And that one just out of the reach there. And ends up Danny Clark getting the interception.
2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Marquette gets it back to Clark. Clark's going to fling this one up in the air. Deep and just over the outstretched arm of Brandon Malachek. 2:23 left to go here in the game. Boston will pretty much take their time as much as they can. 23-13. Boston still on top, and we get another timeout. DC set to go here with the final 2:13 left to go in this game. McComb taking it right at the edge of the end zone. Robin Myers on defense. Next week, the Whitecaps will play host to the Philadelphia Spinners. The Spinners and the New York Rumble right now locked in a overtime match. The Rumble trying to get their first win of the season. Kolick's going to send this one deep. Trying to get it to Eric Miner, and it's broken up. Nicely done there by Reinhardt.
Beautiful layout D by
Seth Reinhardt with the layout D. Boston will take over and get it over to Teddy Brower-Arjaris. Again, that's next week. Boston will play host to Philadelphia. Game 7 o'clock right here at Bowditch Field in Framingham. Jeff Graham gets it over to Jars. Boston taking their time, letting the clock run. There's Teddy again. Teddy, a little nifty throw around the edge and a nice layout there. Robin Myers for the score right there. Exactly 1 minute left in the game after that one. It's 24-13. And improved to 4-0 on the season. Still the only undefeated team here in the Eastern Conference. Let's see what DC decides to do here in the last few seconds. These are the type of days when you got to just shrug off and try not to think about too much and let it drag on you when you get to your next game. Nice defense there by Terry Roth. Layout there, preventing a score for DC. The game might be in hand, but that doesn't mean anything for Boston. They're still playing hard. Terry Roth, great job there. 26 seconds left to go. Boston will start things off. Misha Horowitz. Will Neff now. Approaching 10 seconds. Again, Boston moving to 4-0. DC will be 1-3. This will probably be the last play of the game right here. And that'll do it. Final score, 24-13. Whitecaps win easily over the DC Current. They had this game from start to finish. Offense, defense, clicking on all cylinders today. A great win for the Whitecaps. And DC will look to rebound next week against New York. Boston will try and continue on next week as they play host Philadelphia Spinners, 7 o'clock here in Framingham. That'll wrap it up here for us in Framingham. I'm Jeff Poster. We'll see you next time.